The FIA have pushed the drivers to the brink with their petty meddling. Whether it's fines for wearing jewellery, community service for swearing, or checking they have clean pants on each race, the drivers are fed up. The Grand Prix Drivers Association has rallied together to release a statement and present a unified front, setting the battle lines against the often derided FIA president Mohammed Ben Sulayem. Today, I'll check out what the drivers said, why they're fed up with the FIA, and what the consequences of this antagonistic statement could be. So, don't go anywhere. So the big news today is that Formula One's drivers, through the Grand Prix Drivers Association, or GPDA, have issued a statement regarding driver misconduct and the FIA's handling of it in recent years. Just from the title of the letter, it's clear what they think of it, with driver misconduct being put in quotation marks to show the sarcasm of those two words. The GPDA have demanded the FIA stop treating them like children in a damning indictment of the governing body's policies and its president, Mohammed Ben Sulayem. The open letter is a strongly worded and highly critical statement addressing the recent controversy over swearing, as well as other issues over the last few years. It also took issue with the tone and language used by Ben Sulayem and questioned the financial transparency of the FIA in a highly unusual and very public critique which puts the FIA in a difficult position. The swearing issue that has arisen over the past few weeks is the straw that broke the driver's back. Ferrari driver Charles Leclerc was fined for swearing in a news conference after the Mexico City Grand Prix. The 27-year-old was given a fine of €10,000, half of which is suspended, on the condition he does not commit the same offence in the next 12 months. The punishment is less severe than that received by Red Bull's Max Verstappen for the same offence at September's Singapore Grand Prix, the Dutchman being required to accomplish some work of public interest, essentially a sentence of community service, a punishment which the FIA have no authority to issue or enforce. The unprompted crackdown on swearing came after the FIA president Mohammed Ben Sulayem said in an interview with Autosport that he wanted swearing not to be broadcast on television. At the time, the drivers responded angrily to Ben Sulayem's intervention, feeling it was misguided because the radio messages broadcast on television show them being their authentic selves, and any swear words are bleeped out. Commercial rights holder F1 Management, which is responsible for the TV broadcasts and chooses to broadcast the swearing, has no plans to change its approach, highlighting that this is just a Ben Sulayem issue, not an F1 issue. The letter very clearly sets out how the F1 drivers feel about the frivolous crusades that the FIA president has set out on in recent years. As is the case with every sport, competitors must abide by the referee's decision, whether they like it or not, indeed whether they agree with it or not. With regards to swearing, there is a difference between swearing intended to insult others and more casual swearing, such as you might use to describe bad weather, or indeed an inanimate object such as an F1 car or driving situation. It was pretty clear from the start that the drivers weren't going to be happy about the swearing situation. Mercedes driver George Russell, a director of the Grand Prix Drivers Association, said 2 weeks before Leclerc copped his fine that the drivers planned to publish an open letter over the controversy. Like I said though, the swearing was just the straw that broke the camel's back. The letter also takes issue with the FIA president's language. We urge the FIA president to also consider his tone and language when talking to our member drivers, or indeed about them, whether in a public forum or otherwise. That line is, of course, a reference to the FIA president's statement about the drivers swearing. When declaring he would crack down on driver swearing, Ben Sulayem said F1 had to differentiate our sport, motorsport, and rap music. We're not rappers, you know. They say the F word how many times per minute? We're not on that. That's them and we are us. Lewis Hamilton accused Ben Sulayem of using stereotypical language with a racial element in response to the statement. Hamilton said, "Saying rappers is very stereotypical. If you think about it, most rappers are black. So when it says we are not like them, those are the wrong choice of words. There is a racial element there." There is a lot more to this letter than what is obviously said though. Reading between the lines, it exposes a far larger issue with the FIA. Before I talk about that though, if you're enjoying the video and want to catch some more daily F1 news, make sure to give us a like and subscribe to F1 Reverse. Thanks a lot. So there are two things about this letter that are particularly unsettling. The fact it was posted on Instagram and the section about the money. I'll start with the Instagram part. This letter wasn't sent to a host of media outlets. It wasn't emailed to everyone on their mailing list. It was simply posted to Instagram. Now, the GPDA is not normally a very public body. They prefer to work for the drivers behind the scenes, taking a stand in drivers' meetings before races and at the F1 Commission meetings. Them going public with this statement in this way must have been an absolute last resort. These issues will have already been raised with the FIA numerous times behind the scenes. They will have been raised directly with Mohammed Ben Sulayem multiple times. He's always wandering around the F1 paddock trying to pander to the drivers at Grand Prix weekends, so there were plenty of opportunities. For the GPDA to take this route, it means they have been ignored in private, so now they've gone public, where they know they'll get the majority of the support over the FIA. It is a last resort decision for them. It goes against what they normally do, but they know it's a winning move. The section regarding what happens with the funds from fines is also worrying. The GPDA has, on countless occasions, expressed its views that driver monetary fines are not appropriate for our sport. For the past 3 years, we have called upon the FIA president to share the details and strategy regarding how the FIA's financial fines are allocated and where the funds are spent. We have also relayed our concerns about the negative image financial fines bring to the sport. We once again request that the FIA president provides financial transparency and direct and open dialogue with us. All stakeholders, the FIA, F1, the teams and the GPDA, should jointly determine how and where the money is spent for the benefit of our sport. So far this season, the drivers and teams have been fined roughly $375,000. That's a lot of money to disappear into a non-profit organization. While there is nothing to say that it's being used for anything other than the fiscally responsible running of the organization, the fact that the FIA haven't been able to provide transparency on where the money goes does raise doubts. It should be a simple question to answer. Simply saying that the money goes into next year's budget for grassroots motorsport development, for example, and showing that with financial records would be a 10-minute job for an accountant. So why not just answer the question? How Ben Sulayem responds to this will be incredibly important for the sport going forward. He could abandon what he's tried to implement and cave to the pressure that this letter has placed upon him. That would gain him favour with the drivers and could go some way to repairing the growing rift between F1 and the FIA. Or he could stand by his principles, alienating the drivers and teams even further from his organisation. He's up for re-election at the end of 2025, and how he handles this could have a huge impact on how that vote falls. The FIA is far bigger than just Formula 1, but it is the most publicity the organisation receives, and how the FIA handles F1 does affect its overall image. The last time Ben Sulayem was publicly questioned in this way, he came out swinging. In January of 2023, Mohammed Ben Sulayem was quoted on an archived version of his old website, saying that he does not like women who think they're smarter than men, for they are not in truth. He denied the claims of misogyny, despite the quote appearing on his own website, saying he was a target of an inhuman smear campaign. If his previous response to criticism tells us anything about the FIA president, it's that he won't take this letter well. What do you think of the GPDA's statement? If you were in the FIA's position, what would you do now? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and if you fancy getting your hands on some motorsport merch, make sure to check out f1reverse.com. Until next time, drive safe and bye for now.